Next Level Mindset, bringing you another powerful and positive video. I want to share with you how to fulfill your destiny, what has worked for me in my life. And if you watch this all the way through till the end, I'm going to share a bonus point, extra tips you do not want to miss. What's coming up? Let's do it. Greatness, success, being on top, doing what they call making it. What does that really mean? I want to share some experiences from me, and if these things work for me, I know they will work for you. I want to let you know you have the power to fulfill your destiny in this life. The first proven way to realize your greatness is to start saying yes and no in your favor. When was the last time you really said no because you wanted to say no? And you only said yes when you really wanted to say yes. It took me a while in my life to realize that my time is my time. Your life is your life. And I had to come to the point where I realized I am worthy to say no when I really want to say no and start saying yes in my favor. You've been helping everybody else out, but what about you? A lot of times we try to give so much, and I found out that we can only give that which we have. So the thing that has helped me is to realize that if there's something that I don't see in my heart that will benefit me, I'm worthy to say no to it. And I only say yes when it's something that I know that is in my best interest. That will help you to realize your greatness and to help you to realize that you have the power to fulfill your destiny in your life. How do we know when we're in good standing with God? Our spirituality is intact. So the first sign that we are okay and that our spirituality is in good health is when I can choose to understand. We find ourselves choosing to understand more than we choose to get upset, more than we choose to fuss and fight, more than I choose to maybe blame or pass the blame to someone else. When I can choose to understand, that's when I know that is a good sign of a healthy spiritual life. So I'm learning in my life, I'm learning to put understanding above everything. Before I start to misunderstand something, I'm choosing to understand. That is the first sign, one of the many signs, choose to understand. The Bible even says, even Jesus said, out of everything you get yourself an understanding. So that reminds me that no matter what, as long as I understand, understanding is everything. And that is the first thing that is going to help us to know that our spirituality is intact. Signs of a healthy spiritual life. When I can choose to understand above everything, when I can relax in the knowledge of knowing that understanding is the key, that's when I know that I'm all right with God. That's a healthy sign of a healthy spiritual life. It took me a while to realize that success for one person is something different for somebody else. What I may see as success could be something different for you. So just keep that in mind. Success means anything that you think it means. For me, it means accomplishing my goals, feeling alive, feeling that things are going great, choosing my destiny. I have one affirmation that says, I am the master of my fate, captain of my soul, molder and shaper of my destiny. My own actions have placed me where I am in life. And today my actions are powerful, positive, and productive. That's one of those things that I identify with, and to keep my mind on that next level. What does success mean for you? What does it really mean? It means so many things to so many different people. And as we begin to achieve that greatness, we can begin to take that success and give it a new meaning in your life. All of us are great in a certain way. Think about it. If you're here right now watching this video, checking this out, you're able to hear, move around, create things, you're able to enjoy life. Somebody is being influenced by the things that you do. You have an impact on somebody's life. It's a thing that we have to look at. We can see life as a game. This is your life, your power, your choice. One thing that locks it in for me is to remember that it is a game that I can play. We're all striving to be that number one spot, to make that number one spot. And I found that in my life, the best way to win some things is to not have to win. And we're going to get more to that in a little bit. The second thing that helps me to lock that fact in, that it's your life, your power, your choice, is to prepare for what's coming. This whole world is going through things right now, shifting the whole planet. Prepare for what's coming. That's the second thing that's helped me when it comes to the fact that it's your life, your power, your choice. Prepare for the things that are coming your way. The third thing that has helped me, that will help you, is to never forget that pain that you've gone through. Never forget those times that you came through, those difficult times in your life. I'm talking to somebody right now. You came through that fire. The challenges that you've come through. Always remember that. The things that you overcome in your life. Remember that pain that you've come through. Those things that tried to take you out. And I like to say, after hell has done its worst, I'll still be at my best. Some of you have that same attitude. So remember that. Never forget what we've come through. What I found out in my life is that it's totally all right to forgive, but never forget certain things that happen in my life, I'm always going to be able to forgive and move on. But we need to remember the pain that we've come through so that we won't make those same mistakes as we did before. So that's number 3. Never forget where you've been. Never forget what you've come through. Because now you can be able to share that with somebody else. And that's another thing I want to encourage you. The thing that you've come through, share your story with somebody. Let them know, inspire them, empower them. Drop me a comment and encourage me. I need it too. Let me know that if you can do it, I can too. I like the idea of using our words to manifest what we want in our lives. There's times when you may even watch something on the news. Somebody might even bring something to you. Cause you to lose faith, cause you to lose hope. It could cause you to feel like things are just not working out for you. But there's a way that we could use our words, affirm things. We can use the power of our word to overcome fear, to refuse to fall for it. One of my affirmations says, I have eliminated the words I can't from my life. Stepping out on faith, I can do all things through the power of the universe that strengthens me. So I have affirmations that lock in that I could use. My words are powerful. Even scripture says that our words have power. It says life and death is in the power of our tongue. It's in the power of what we say. They want you in fear, but this is how you refuse it. I have another affirmation that says that even in death and dark places, I have no fear because I know that I am God is with me. That oneness that I have with the Spirit of God, I know it's with me. So I refuse to fall for that fear. Even in times when things happen that I don't expect, fear comes up with that. I like to say I am always prepared for the unexpected, always prepared for the challenge. I always come through with an outstanding performance and an outstanding result. So that is the first thing that has helped me. So keep that in mind as you begin to master your fear, as you begin to face those things that usually would cause you to back down, as you begin to step up in your life. Remember, our words have power. And the first thing that has helped me in my life, in my journey, when it comes to refusing to fall for the fear, I can refuse it by using the power of my word. The second thing that helps me to refuse to fall for that fear is to make the connection. You all have a support group that you can connect to. It's time for us to connect with those who are supporting us. For so long in my life, I looked around and I realized that I didn't have to focus on those who didn't have my back. And there's always somebody who know your potential. They know that you have the ability to come through on certain things. They know your skills. They're willing to support you. So what has helped me in my life is to make the connection, to reach out and connect with those who are already supporting me. And although we have the Spirit of God within us, always have that oneness, there's times when we can just reach out. Your life means so much to so many different people you'll never really know. Finding that connecting to your support. It took me a while to realize that we all have family, we all have different friends, we all have fans, but there are always going to be those who really connect with you. They believe in you. They know part of your vision. They've seen you operate in the past. They've seen you come through with outstanding performance and with outstanding results. They've seen that your word is powerful, that you keep your word, that you honor your integrity. Find those and make that connection. It's the second thing that has helped me in my life when it comes to refusing it. They want you in fear. We're going to talk about who they are in a little bit, but they want you in fear. But this is how you refuse it. Making that connection to those who got your back. You know, I got to take some time to just say thank you to all my subscribers, all of my viewers, all of you right now coming back, taking the time to view my channel, and you mean a lot. The Cash App donations, all of the investments. Thank you. This wouldn't be the same without you. If this is your first time, great music, entertainment, inspiration, motivation, subscribe. Hit that bell. Be the first to get my next video. Love to have you in the Next Level family. When things come up in your life and you have that feeling of being afraid, they want you to be in fear. They want you in fear, but this is how you refuse it. And when we talk about they are the ones who told you you couldn't make it. Remember that? They said that you would never be able to do it, but you came through with it. They are the ones who try to tell you that you're not able to accomplish your goal. They are the ones who are afraid to step out, because when you step out and you accomplish your goal, you're going to call the bluff on all of their excuses. All the excuses that they bring up, they will become meaningless. There's no excuse for doing anything less than what you're able to do. I always say that we can do all things with the power of God within us. That spiritual oneness that we have with God within us, that great I am. So think about that. When you think about who they are the ones who try to come against you and try to talk down on you. Those ones who try to make you feel like what you're doing is not worth it. You're being original. So remember, whoever they are, not willing to step up and do what you know needs to be done, don't let them fool you. They want you in fear, but you can refuse it. Second bonus point that I want to share with you is a power tip. It mostly deals with the idea of who's really being afraid. And what I had to learn in my life is that there is a higher spirit. There is a spiritual being that has no fear. If there is fear, it comes from a lower part, a lower ego self. And what I've learned to identify only with the God within me. I've learned to identify with that spiritual oneness of the universe, knowing that God's got my back. So keep that in mind. And another thing to remember also, that our DNA is creative. We have the DNA of divinity. Never forget that. So the first level is the intellectual level of spirituality. This is where we begin to take in the knowledge, do research. I remember back in my life, there were times when I was even afraid to pick up any other book other than the Bible. But this is where we begin to explore. Now we get to the point where we begin to take in different ideas. The intellectual level of spirituality is that level of knowledge, beginning to know who we are in our true and divine selves. The second level of spirituality is that authoritarian level. That's where we have a strong devotion. Now, some of you can think back in your life. Most of us have come from that level. My goal and my ability as an inspirational speaker is to share my experience, to break those chains, loose from this matrix, to be able to see life in a whole new level, in a whole new way. And so this level, this authoritarian level, it is a level that has strong beliefs along the lines of religion and tradition. Although this level is more on a religious level, it also encompasses those who are willing to explore and to see what the spiritual life is really all about. Keep in mind, everyone in here, everyone watching this video right now is somewhere in these levels. The third level of spirituality is what I call that mystic level of spirituality. This is the level where you begin to be bold, you begin to step outside of the norm, you begin to investigate, to explore, and realize that we have not only this physical earthly temple, but we have a spiritual and divine identity in God, God living his life as all that lives. This is the level of mysticism, esoteric knowledge. It is encompassing that higher level. It is on this level that we begin to experience a certain level of spiritual freedom. We begin to make changes in our life that will affect those around us. Mystic Secrets. I talk a lot about that in my book, Mystic Secrets of the Bible. They host all my books, Mystic Secrets of the Bible. They host Divorced and Still Destined for Greatness. And if you check out the links in the description for those Amazon links, I'm pretty sure you'll find something that will take care of you as well. So huge shout out to Amazon. Check them out with the links in the description. Your DNA is divine. I want you to think about your creative DNA. Remember, your spirit is divine. The eternal being of God within us, that great I am, has got our back. Never forget that. Your DNA is godly divine. You can do anything you put your mind to. First thing that I'm doing in my life, I'm learning to take care of my physical well-being. Let's look at this as a break. The first thing we can do is just take a break. I can call it a re-break, a refreshment break, a replenishing break, a retirement break for some that at a certain age, a renewing break. Think about it like that. The first thing we can do when we feel that life is giving us too much that we cannot bear, take that break. Some of us, it's in nature, going out into nature, enjoying that part of life, getting out into the fresh air and seeing the different things of nature that nature has to offer. Some of you, it's about eating some fresh fruit, watermelon and bananas, grapes. Some of us, it's just taking that replenishing break of fresh fruit. For others, it may be getting a refreshing drink. Of course, we got to be careful what we put in our drinks today, but that's a whole other video. But you see what I'm saying? We can take that break, that re-break, replenish, refresh, renew, regroup. Take that break. When life throws things at us, you didn't come this far to quit. I remember looking in my life, building a business, building a career, balancing that out between family. There's a lot of things that are going on. And some of you watching right now, you've got a family and a business. It's about balancing, finding that equilibrium. When life throws things at us and we feel like it's too tough, we can begin to reprioritize and see what's important. Are you taking care of what we need or what we want? We can make sure that our priorities are lined up with the divine energy of positivity. You didn't come this far to quit. So I want to encourage you. Don't give up. Don't quit. Reprioritize. Figure out what's first things first for you. That's the one thing that I've learned in my life. Coming up, I was always the one to stay to myself. And there is a time when you have to be alone and do your thing on your own. But there's also a time when we need to reach out, get the help that we need. So think about that. And even though you may have to take that time to get away, but still we can have that opportunity to reach out and ask questions, get the facts, get the answers that we need. This may be just for you. It's all right to change things up. Many times in life, we can go through something and we see ourselves going a certain way, and the God within us begins to speak to us and encourage us to make a shift. I like Sean Kennel. He says, small tweaks lead to giant peaks. I like that. So sometimes we just have to change things up. Don't be afraid to make certain changes in your life. Yes, there's going to be certain people who maybe they don't see what you're doing. They don't understand your decisions. Don't let that affect you. You didn't come this far to quit. Don't be afraid to make those changes. One thing that I've learned in my life, I begin to be bold enough to change things up, doing the unexpected, taking those risks. So I want to encourage you, maybe that's for you. Don't be afraid to change. Be able to make a change and make a shift that one direction could change the whole dynamic of your life. You never really know who's watching you, right? You really never know who's watching you, watching what you do, how you do things, how do you respond. Someone is watching you. They're encouraged by what you're doing. You may never really know how they are sizing you up, how they are checking you out, what they are seeing in you. You have an impact in their life. There are certain things that are intended only for you to do. Most of you who follow this channel, you know that this is more of a spirituality based channel. And I realize that the eternal spirit lives within us. And so your manifestation on this earth is unique. There are certain things that God will do only through you. There are certain things that the great spirit will only reveal to you. There are certain things that are only lined up for you to do. That's why your life means so much. You'll never really know how many people are influenced by the actions that you will take. There are certain actions that are designed to be taken only by you. I remember when I was learning to play piano, when I first came up, there were certain teachers that I had, certain instructors. But I remember this one lady, her instructions and certain notes were similar to the other ones, but it was the way she approached me. Somehow she found that certain way to say that certain thing that locked me in, and I was able to pick up on it and use it. So just the same way, there's certain things that only you will be able to say to someone to get their attention. Only you will be able to reach out and touch them and really encourage them. Only you will be able to inspire them. So remember that there are certain things in this world that nobody can do like you. Never forget that. Still destined for greatness. You have to know without a doubt and with certainty, absolute certainty, that the best for you is still yet to come. We must realize deeply that this change is exactly what we need at this time in our spiritual development and human experience. So the question is, do you have what it takes to accept change and start over again? And the answer is an unequivocal yes. Get that book, Still Destined for Greatness. The link for that is in the description. Anytime I flow with that change, knowing that the greater good is being worked out for me, God has got my greater, highest good in mind, knowing that it's a natural part, that has really helped me. And it's only when I fight the change, that's when I find myself in pain. So learn to see it as a natural part of life. Change is a natural part of life. And I want to share with you the things that work for me to keep me on a positive track. So the first thing that helps me during those times is to realize that there is a bigger picture involved. I'm learning to see that there's more going on than meets the eye. I'm learning to realize that there is an impact that I have in my life for a long term. It's not just about the things that I have in my life. It's about my family. It's about some of you watching this right now. You have family members. You have children, you have different areas of life that others depend on you. This thing is bigger than me. So the first thing that helps me during any time that I feel like giving up, I remember the bigger picture. So I have to ask myself, am I willing to see the bigger picture? Am I willing to see that there's something else going on? Before I give up, I have to remember, listen, this thing is bigger than me. I'm willing to see that this is not just about me. It's about something else. It's a bigger picture going on. The second thing that helps me when I feel like giving up is to remind myself of my motive. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? What is the purpose behind these things? What is the why behind the different things that I'm doing? Whether you're donating, whether you're working in your church, whether you're working in a community, running your business, giving in different ways, what is the reason behind it all? So that is the second thing that helps me to remind myself of my motive. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Some of you watching right now, you've gone through those things. You've gone through depression. You've gone through mental anxiety. You've been through those different areas in your life. I have to remind myself of my motive. What is my purpose? What is the reason that I'm doing these things that I'm doing in my life? So I want to encourage you, the next time you feel like giving up, the next time you feel like throwing in the towel, remember, there's a higher vision. What is your purpose behind it all? I have to remind myself, what is my motive for doing the things that I'm doing? If I can remember that, then I can move forward. The second thing that helps me when I feel like giving up, I remember the bigger picture. So I have to ask myself, am I willing to see the bigger picture? Am I willing to see that there's something else going on? Before I give up, I have to remember, listen, this thing is bigger than me. I'm willing to see that there's something else going on. The second thing that helps me when I feel like giving up, I remember the bigger picture. So I have to remember, listen, there's a higher vision. What is my motive for doing the things that I'm doing? that helps me to hold on and to keep going to that next level. And if you're part of the family, you already know that's how we like to do it to get it done. We want to go to the next level in every area. So leave me a comment. Let me know some alternatives that you may have. I would love to hear about them on this channel, as well as the community that we have right here. So the third alternative, when I feel like giving up, what I can do is take personal inventory. There's times when I just have to sit down and ask myself, what is really going on? A lot of times in my life, I found myself making something huge that was really a small issue. So I have to ask myself, how do I really feel about this? Thinking about how do I really feel in this moment? I have to balance it all out. I'm learning to look at things in my life and to take personal inventory. It's about seeing self-evaluation. Take personal inventory. Many times we find ourselves on the go. Think about that. A lot of times we find ourselves as humans doing rather than humans being. How do I really feel about this? Personal inventory. That gives me the inspiration to hold on. For example, with my YouTube channel, one of the things that helped me during those times I felt like giving up because I didn't get the response that I wanted. I didn't get the communication. I didn't get those showing up to watch me. During those times, I had to ask myself, why am I really doing this? What is my motive behind it? Like we talked about in point number 2. What is my personal feelings about this? Self-evaluation. As an alternative to giving up that has helped me. What are the facts involved? How can I take this and put it into perspective? So I want to encourage you. The great spirit of God within us. God knows all about us. And God's got our back. Remember that. Nothing that will happen in your life that God cannot handle, giving you the power. I like to say there's nothing in my life that I cannot do. I can do all things through the power of the God within me. So remember that. What small shift can I make to give me a next level insight on the whole situation? Now, I want to share something with you. Extra bonus points and power tips. So first, if you've enjoyed this so far, hit that like button. That'll send an algorithm signal. Let others know this video, this video. It'll let them know it's worth watching if you hit the like button. Thank you. So this first extra bonus point that I want to share with you, it deals with the idea of the ego. A lot of times when I felt myself in those times when I wanted to give up, it is always that lower self that has issues. It is always that false self that wants to throw in the towel. It is never your true and divine self. It's one thing that has helped me to remember that this is a thing about recognizing who I truly am in God with connecting my spiritual life. This thing is not about this ego self. I have to reconnect with my spiritual and divine self. So that's an extra bonus point that I want to share with you. Whenever you feel like you had enough, life is throwing things at you and you want to give up, remember, this thing is about spirituality. It is the ego self, that lower self, the ungenerated self that wants to give up. It is never the true and divine you. Second power point that I want to share with you when it comes to alternatives for giving up, and that is finding different ways to express those feelings. A lot of times we hold things in and we don't talk about them. We don't even pray about them. But there's something that about that expression. When you have something going on in your life, what has helped me is to find that expression. Some of you watching right now, you have people in your life that love you, that listen to you, that support you. Find different ways to reach out to them, because a lot of times what happens is that we hold things in our minds, if we're not careful, we begin to exaggerate those things and making them worse than what they really are. So think about that in your life. There's some of us who have strong relationships with our families. Maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's your counselor, maybe it's your husband or your wife. Either way, there are those that we can reach out to. And even if you don't have someone right away that you can reach out to, always remember that the God within you, that spiritual connection that you have with God, God is always there. Whatever name you want to use for God, your connection with that spiritual higher power, that's what it's all about. Expressing, getting it out and talking about it. Reminding myself that there are others who will benefit from my life, from the things that I do, the gifts that I have to give. There's somebody that's watching you and your life is important to them. I want you to watch this video right here. I think that would be a great video for you to watch next. So check that video out. See me over there. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Grab a copy of my books and my music with the links in the description. Stay blessed, stay positive. I'll see you on the next level. Peace.